have your attention one last time? If you're here, more towards base just for the history, over here. If you're here more as a fan, come here. If you're misplaced right now, please exchange seats. This is a debate, and this will also be changing for topics. We will be going over a whole bunch.
It's not a serious debate.
It's not a serious debate, but we just want people to be on sides. Please choose your side. If you're a parent and would prefer not to be dealing with this and being as close, there's a few desks in the back, there's a few other parents. It probably will get loud among people, so please do your best.
Guys, please don't make me scream too loud. I mean, he can scream really loud, and Cody might be able to, but I have to go sing at a national competition tomorrow morning, and I don't want to blow my voice.
The other thing I want to keep in mind, is there anyone that is 12 or under right now here? Raise your hands. For this reason, please try to keep your language under control.
And no fan servicing of any kind. History versus how they portrayed it in the show, I don't want to hear anything about it yet.
If we look, these are the panels we are currently running. If you'd like to do what she just said straightforward, come to our actual fan version.
Literally, if what you need to talk about is how much you love US-UK, tomorrow afternoon.
Don't encourage though!
Okay, asking just before we start, how many people were dragged here just because they have a friend or their child just wanted to come here? Okay, look around the room, you are not alone.
Yeah, fantastic.
So if you do not understand things that are going on, I apologize, I barely understand anything that's going on.
If you're really confused, raise your hand, I'll be more than happy to explain it. And by more than happy, I mean painfully obligated. She hasn't even seen one book, so I've only watched half. I only watched half an episode of my princess. But it only covers the very basics of the actual show. You showed up to a contention!
Are you seriously disappointed everyone?
Okay, one more time. If you're here for the history part of Hetaila, come to this side. If you're here for the fan part, come to this side. This is a very, very formal and informal debate.
You gotta sit over here. I'm going to wait for you to talk about it. Hey guys, we do want to keep the screaming to a minimum though, so if you have something to say, try not to scream it over somebody else.
If we want everyone's attention, we're going to put up 3 fingers. That just means quiet down because we know we are going to have to do that a lot of times.
I'll have this. Okay.
Cody, you can see the first mark.
Let's start with the first in the list. Okay, who here has any knowledge about World War II at all?
Yo!
Thank God the school system didn't fail.
That's why I watch the history channel.
Okay, so if you go to the second season of Hetaila, Germany says, and I quote, "You're not allowed to attack Italy unless I'm here." So that's about Italy's attack on Egypt. Does anyone know anything about that? There's hand I saw.
Basically, they invaded Ethiopia first. Got away with it. Tried to attack Egypt. It didn't go over so well. Not at all.
See, I like the way the show portrays it. Egypt literally picks up a stick from the ground and just whacks him over the head with it. And then Italy starts crying and Germany's like, again? Again you do this? Again you do this? I have Okay, here's something I actually did want to discuss. One thing they say in the episode where apparently Santa is flying over a desert island and presents. When they say Christmas even comes during war. Is this or is this not true?
It is.
That is absolutely true. During World War I, which Centennial is this year, by the way, during Christmas, the British and the Germans actually celebrated Christmas. It actually undermined the entire war effort many days afterwards. the officers actually practically had to force their soldiers to fight again because they were questioning, why are we doing this? We're having a good time. We're not that different from each other. In fact, there's actually a movie about it. I think it's called Just Sweet Noel.
Yeah. Me. I actually watched that movie. I also watched The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Never watched it. No. It was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
But that did not have
Boy
to
in
do with
striped
World War II.
pajamas,
Too much.
like how to meet a prisoner.
Oh my
Every time.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that's a Holocaust movie about a general's son who wanders upon one of the work camps, well, one of the extermination camps, and he doesn't get what's going on, and he meets another little boy by the fence, and he's like, why are you in your pajamas? It's the middle of the day. Like, because striped pajamas are normal, like, a lot of people in striped pajamas when they were little, it's like, it's the middle of the day, why do you have your pajamas on? And the boy tries to explain to him that he doesn't know why he's in the work camp. He doesn't know why he's there, he doesn't know what it is. They're like 5 years old. And one day the kid's dad goes missing. And so the general's son says, oh, I'll help you find him. And he goes back to the house and gets a shovel, digs under the fence of the work camp, goes in, and this was towards the end of the war, so they were mass killing everybody. Everybody in the camp had to die. And nobody noticed he wasn't a prisoner, and they sent him to the gas chamber with everybody else. And the general came back and found his son among all the dead bodies.
Spoiler alert.
Watch a movie about that.
No, I don't have to.
Okay. There is, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, the history buffs might have noticed it. There is a gigantic inaccuracy in Hetaila that has nothing to do with all of the, like, suggested yowies and all of that. Actually, historical inaccuracy. When Latvia suggests living with Germany during World War II in order to escape from Soviet Russia, and he suggests it, and Lithuania flat out refuses in the show, does anybody know why that's inaccurate?
Yeah. Because they were trying to ally with it to get away from the Russians at the time.
Yes. Lithuania actually had the highest death rate of the Jewish people during the Holocaust for population, because they thought, maybe if we kill them all, Germany will free us from the Soviets. They did not want to be communists. They hated communists. They did not want to be communists. So that's what they did. That was the biggest inaccuracy I've ever seen in that show. That they said that. And like everyone flat out disproved it. And they all actually tried to do that. Now that I've made it really depressing, does anyone else want to say something happy about the history?
Why does everyone forget Canada?
They gave us unarmed soldiers.
Canada had the highest success rate in battles and the best trained soldiers in the entire war.
And they sent like 200 people. Thank you, Canada. Thank you.
I gotta give it to Canada because they had some of the hardest fighting soldiers. First Special Services Division. Basically the modern precursor to our special forces today. U.S. and Canada. They were on Sword Beach. They had armored divisions that got many awards for their bravery in combat.
See, I didn't know that. Now I'm glad I do. Your hand went up first.
Does anyone still go to school? Are any of you still learning World War II? Does the Battle of Vimy Ridge mean anything to you guys?
The battle of what?
Vimy Ridge?
We actually
Yeah, you know where we kind of liberated France.
What school do you go
So yeah, for anyone here, if the synopsis will help you if you're in 10th or 11th or doing any kind of U.S. history or any world history essays, this is probably going to help you a little bit.
Like literally, there's like 2 people videotaping this. Go on YouTube later if they put it on there. And just,
The point of this statement is that the Canadians liberated France. The Battle of Vimy Ridge, the Canadians secured France for everybody. They freed France. It wasn't an Allied victory. The Canadians took the ridge and kicked the shit out of Germany. And everyone goes, well, what did they won the fucking war.
Language.
And Canada totally burned down America's crown.
I was just about to say that! Yeah. They did do that.
England burned down the
No, I totally did. Give it to Canada, would you?
Also, somebody will actually her voice. Repeat what she said.
What'd she say?
It's kind of hard to hear sometimes. People are shouting.
She's back there telling me like this, and I can't hear a word.
She said that the Canadians secured France during World War II. And like it wasn't an Allied effort, it was a Canadian effort, and everybody says that they never do anything. Well, they did do something.
You're Canada!
Inform anyone about it.
Because they're Canadians and they keep everything on the down low.
Normal.
You had your head.
What I want to see in the show, I want to see Ukraine and Canada, because the two nations actually do have history together. Actually, currently, right now. Yes. That they what is it? I'm trying to think. What is it?
Stop pushing your head cannons with people.
Yeah. I'm saying they want to keep going with more. Actually, keep going on with more history. That should become a thing where at least the two characters interact.
You think those two characters should interact?
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of their diplomatic affairs right now?
What?
Can you give us an example of what diplomatic affairs they have going on?
I wish I had gone more into that. My friend told me that I believe that they had a treaty. It was
Can you tell us more about that?
I believe Canada has a very large number of Ukrainian immigrants, and a lot of them settled in, pardon my butchering pronunciation, Saskatchewan, thank you. A lot of them settled there. I've only ever read the word, I've never actually heard anything.
Okay. Now you, Porter, you had your hand up one time.
Number one, actually a lot of the girls and boys that are in high school still that are here actually don't know a lot about World War II battles because of all the things coming about with being politically correct in school. They have to censor the violence all of a sudden. Like, they have an entire half of the World War missing from our textbook. Specifically what happened in China with Japan.
Yeah.
That completely erased.
We still have that in our textbook. You
Well,
know, in your
politically correct. Put your hand up.
Guys, shush. We literally just have a class about the Holocaust.
Yeah, Holocaust and genocide.
Yeah, Holocaust and genocide. I wish I could take that class, but I'm going to BOCES. Okay,
So am I. Our school is like very conservative, so we learn like no battling whatsoever. We barely even do the Holocaust.
Okay, so
What do they say about people who never learn about the past?
they're bound to repeat it in the future.
They are forced to repeat it in the future. So it's a bad trend in these schools to not put everything.
Raise your hand if you're still in high school. Raise your hand, keep your hand raised if you can tell me the date, the year World War II officially started. Oh. She's got it! It's like a she's so excited about it. Okay. What year?
Where? Where?
Where do you guys go to school?
Okay, so that was guys, listen to me. If you're in high school, raise your hand again. Raise your hand again. That's what? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're in high school. 11, 12, 13. That's about 20 people. That's about 20 people in this room who are still in high school who could not tell me the year World War II began. So honestly, our school systems have made it very conservative. Like, my teacher now corrects himself when he says the word Jew. He corrects himself because he doesn't think that's
Oh, you still have the other ones in the school, BCE instead of AD.
Oh, yeah, BC, because God forbid we say Christ. God forbid. I'm saying that ironically, of course, because I'm using God. And God forbid we offend the atheists. I mean, so
That's wrong, man. There are some of us here, okay?
yeah. Shut up, guys. Grooming. Okay. So listen, you guys honestly have to take the initiative to go out and get a book and read that book.
If I may, quick correction. They're not going to be nice to atheists. It's Muslims and Hindus and all the others who say, hey, we have to stay behind Christ.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just
it's true.
when I'm Jewish, and when I was raised in with the small amount of time that I remember that I was in religion school, they actually did always write BC. They always wrote CE and BC.
Yeah.
It was like a large thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which politically is correct, but it gets into the large changes. They're thinking of even taking away from our Pledge of Allegiance, taking away the under God part.
Well, it didn't
And-
start out
I'm still gonna say
It was added in the 1950s.
I agree with this.
So,
Yeah, it was added just to prove that we're not a godless nation. It's okay, we used to say the pledge like
I'm
this.
just gonna say it is a debate though for another day because that is really drifting from our subject.
Yeah, that's not the topic.
You two have your hands, you then you.
I was only going to say they added One Nation Under God during the whole Red Scare because
To prove we're not a godless nation like the communists.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to beat up on the high school kids, but
here we go.
country first invaded, and what was the pretext that the Germans used for their invasion?
Oh, I know this.
All right, high school. You know what?
I know.
Cody.
Cody gets to pick who does it. Cody, you can't say it. You picked one already. Cody gets to pick who says it.
Pick someone.
Don't pick men.
I remember seeing you raise your hand last time. Yeah, you.
Someone in high school's got to answer this.
I'm not in high school.
I'm listening to this guy.
Yes.
That guy.
You
Turning around to you.
Czechoslovakia.
Wrong.
No, it was Austria.
Wrong.
Okay,
Poland.
you don't know the answer.
There we go.
It was Poland.
Poland. Because they
I
wanted
knew that. Okay,
Guys, okay, we're just gonna have him tell us the answer because clearly none of you know it.
Okay. It was Poland.
There was someone over here that did get it right.
And the pretext the Germans used for their invasion was that supposedly the Polish army went into Germany and blew up a radio station, and that justified their invasion.
Clearly, I mean, I go into Canada and blow up radio stations all the time, and that's why we're in a horrible raging war right now.
Also, weren't they also saying that there were a bunch of German citizens there who wanted to reunite with Germany, or was that the smaller nations they picked
No,
off
that
first?
was in Poland
Okay,
too. That was North
Okay,
Prussia.
we're gonna jump back to Italia for a second.
We're gonna go back to actually my favorite part of Italia is when Germany is making all of those cuckoo clocks to pay back France. And the whole episode is about how German marks are completely and absolutely worthless, and you could literally use them to make fires and they're cheaper
Okay,
than
I want to ask a question with that. Why did that happen first?
Cody, pick one. Don't pick
She's going on
Christy.
this side.
Don't pick her. She answered. She's smart. We get it. It's you, I think.
It's because after the war, Germany got the entire world debt, and he had to repay by doing labor. I'm trying to remember. I know it's because he got the world debt, so then he had to figure out his way of paying back.
Okay.
I want to say something stupid and then sound like a weak.
I'm going to explain this real quick. So if you have your hand up, put it down for now. You can raise your hand again in a second if you want to add anything. What happened was, which really actually hurt Germany went through hyperinflation because they had to pay back a lot of war debts. And they figured, let's print more money, which was a terrible, terrible idea.
Didn't exist back then in Germany.
Be quiet. Germany's a fantastic country. I'm not joking. They are a fantastic country.
They're holding Europe together now.
And so you can literally, actually one of the most famous photos.
I'm talking about economy.
Yeah. My favorite story is the people who took wheelbarrows of money to buy a loaf of bread because it cost 9 billion marks.
Yep.
And the best picture you'll ever see with that is there's a picture of a bunch of 5 or 6-year-old boys making a tower of money because it's completely worthless, and they are stacking marks in a giant tower and like using them as building blocks. It is a fantastically terrifying picture.
There's actually another story that my 6th grade teacher told me. I'm a junior in college now, and this is how much it stuck with me. It was a story about a woman had left her wheelbarrow outside to go inside and like grab something for her baby, came back out. The wheelbarrow was gone. They left the money. It was so worthless. It wasn't
fantastic. I love it. Another thing that really didn't help was, does everybody know what the UK and France did after World War I when they had to pay us back? What they did about that money? You have to answer it.
I think I'm just going to take a wild guess here. Did they change over to the euro from the franc then? Or?
No, the euro is fairly recent.
What the UK and France did when they had to pay us back all of the money they borrowed?
They sent it to America because they had to pay back the U.S. for war assistance.
What the UK and France did was they said, you know, America, we lost 8 billion men. You lost, what, 100,000? And we still let you come to the conference. I mean, we still let you sit there and then rejected all of your ideas. So we still let you come, though, except for the League of Nations that we didn't even join. Because the Senate didn't like it. And so they said, we shouldn't have to pay you back. And so the U.S. in turn lowered the interest rate and lowered the debt a little bit, but said, no, you still have to pay us. And they came up with a plan, the Dawes Act. The Dawes Plan? Act. Dawes Act.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, we'll pay Germany, and then Germany will pay you back, and then we'll get our money. Also a very stupid idea. Because Germany used most of that money, and then like gave a little bit of the UK and France, and like they like sent us back $1.
Just before answering, okay, the people that are outside high school, how many of you are either history, sociology, or economics majors? How many of you just like it for are just history nerds just for the fact of being history nerds?
I like this ratio. Yeah, I like this ratio.
Yeah.
That's a good ratio. History buffs.
Just saying the same info we're saying right now, you're going to need in 10th grade for your regions and 11th grade for your regions.
Regions are the best thing ever. They're designed so you can pass. I got 100 on like 2 of them and like 98.
I designed you being like history.
Oh my god, the history book was great. I got
okay, hands for comments, then we're going to move on to the next Hetaila.
I was just gonna ask, was that also the time when they, when the U.S. got naval bases from Britain?
No, that was World War II.
That's a little bit later.
That was after World War II.
That's the first time that happened, I believe, is around Germany was like, by the way, guys, we're going to just take Sudanland. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We got this. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And the U.S. Meg, what? You want to say something there?
That Germany was forced to sign and later they will come in violation of, which would cause World War II. And recently, they only really recently paid off their debt. I think it's 2010 that Germany signed.
We all have to remember that's not really Germany's fault, honestly. We gave them really unreasonable demands.
Okay, for people who know, just on the brush topic for Nazis, what percent of Germany were considered Nazis? Does anyone know the actual number? There's a roundabout percent.
I believe it's about 30%?
Lower.
20.
Lower. It's between 8 and 12%. They're saying an average of 10. There really weren't that many. In fact, a large chunk of Germany went what was going on, like after the war. That's why when you go up to the country with all those stereotypes that have been popping up in television, it's kind of true because a lot of them really didn't realize what was going on.
I don't understand. I'm the spokesperson for McDonald's. My Russian friend's a communist, and I thought all of my German friends were Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that how the world works?
Yeah.
Oh. And you know, all my Italian friends are fascists. Wait a second, I'm Italian.
One more hand, and we're going to go to the next fact.
Fun fact from the Hetaila show. It's not really a fun fact, it's kind of sad because I named the depth of this. In one of the new from what was it, World Series? Yeah. There's an episode right in the beginning. Italy, when Germany says you need to learn how to salute your officers better. Italy goes like this, and in German he says Hail Hitler to Germany. He says, oh, I mean yes, sir.
Which is scene ever.
That is a word.
I know. Which brings up the best moment in Hetaila. which is also really horrible. Don't think I'm terrible.
It's good. It's funny, but it's horrible.
The best horrible moment is when South Italy goes, Germany, I brought you something, and really exaggerated. Oh, please, not another two.
Yeah, Cody. Yeah, one more comment, we're gonna move on.
You, but please speak louder.
That is all Funimation. That is not in any instance of the original show.
I know.
Funimation thought they could get more viewers by pissing people off, and it worked.
I still agree, sub over dub. Sub over dub.
As much as I love Ed Bell, he's terrible, terrible.
And you can avoid sub and you can understand the language. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one.
Our next topic was, does anything know about
Everything goes.
have friends?
I'll be your friend.
I'll be your husband.
Cody's not manly enough. Cody's not manly enough for that position. Cody still has to Anyway.
You have to wait till the next panel, let's pick on Cody.
Okay, 1522 through 1544 are the years that they talk about Hetaila, which is all about Italy being passed around from country to country because it's broken up into all these different little areas, and every other country is like, well, this is for the taking, this is free land.
Can I just ask, did anyone get like a little confused, like the first like 2 episodes of seeing Hetaila, thinking that it was a girl?
It was
I got really confused.
Guys, for those of you who don't know, Holy Roman Empire thought he was a girl too, and fell madly in love with him and then realized he was a boy. What happens though? That's in the show. He's like, oh my god, she's so pretty, and then Austria's like, you know that's a dude, right? Which is a very amusing and disturbing episode because they're like 7 years old. Does anyone know any actual stories about Italy during that time?
Well, actually, the reason why the dress and everything was very popular in the time to put any form of boy or girl in a little children. Yeah, so that's why you guys come back.
My favorite thing is one, I forgot what country it was. A couple countries did this. They used to describe their princes as princesses and used to put them in really pretty dresses and flowers in their hair so that people would be less likely to kill them.
That was their plan.
That was their plan. They figured people are less likely to kill the princess than the prince. Because if you see a 5-year-old girl, you're a lot less likely to kill her because she's not going to go to the country mad. Sexism is great.
It gets you free things.
I was watching a movie about two things.
During the Renaissance, during all that, like that.
Was it late Renaissance or after?
You actually referenced the Renaissance. Okay, who here, raise your hand, I don't need everyone to shout this out. Raise your hand if you can tell me why the Renaissance started in Italy. That is a depressing amount of juice. You don't have to answer, just if you can
I'm
answer.
just gonna go hand all the way in the back.
The Renaissance started
You can speak up just a little.
The Renaissance started in Italy because the Greeks they discovered old knowledge from the Greek Empire and ancient Greek Empire and the ancient Roman Empire, and they rediscovered the ideas, and it basically allowed them to build on these ideas, and basically people got smarter again.
and Western Europe is called as Dark Ages.
Well, let me also add on to a side. What was the art style? Because the Renaissance led to a new art style. What was the old art style like? What were the drawings of before the Renaissance? Anyone with new hands? Because I apologize.
Yeah.
Any new?
I have to see Meg if we did. I don't want her to answer.
Oh. No, she really doesn't.
I don't think I've heard you answer.
Everything had to have been approved by the church, so it was mostly dealing with religious icons and things.
How were the facial expressions?
It's very flat. Monotonous?
It was flat and
Yeah.
kind of just there.
It was like if I were to make a crudely drawn stick figure on the board, only prettier than that. They were
Pronunciations.
yeah.
5 seconds.
You're 5 seconds to draw. Okay, can anyone tell me why?
I can't do it!
Not because of their history, but why location-wise Italy was the first country to go through this? Why it was perfect? I haven't heard from you. All of that.
Was it not because it was a peninsula, meaning that it could get easy access to other places that were not affected
That's
by
right.
the plague?
Because Italy had a lot of ports. It was easier for Italy to get into the Renaissance because they were able to have more money, because they were surrounded by water and could trade more and make money. And through trading, what are the, I think it's 4 things, right? 4? What are the 4, no, not the 4, I'm talking about the things that you exchange for trading. 3 things. What are the 3 things that people trade? You learned this in 4th grade. Please, for the love of God, you learned this in 4th grade. I haven't heard you say it.
I think Skittles.
Close.
4.
Yeah, they're ideas. Yeah, ideas. So that's another reason it was Italy.
Also known as Close with Diffusion.
Also known as close with diffusion. For those of you whose history teachers have apparently failed you, trade, especially because of thanks to sea trade, the things I remember from trade, ideas, people, materials, and diseases. Those are your 4 major things that are traded. Oh, you have Henry.
Okay, first I want to go back to the drawing thing. Actually, the reason why their faces were so flat and stuff is because perception didn't come around in pictures until maybe the late 1600s.
Yeah, that's part of it.
So they really didn't have orthogonals or anything because they're just like, oh, let me draw this. Oh, it looks pretty. It's good.
It's good enough. You're drawing on it. Good enough. That's our cosplay model.
You also have to do with the fact that in the Middle Ages, life was considered very quick and brief and dark and terrible, so they didn't really about like, oh, I'm going to draw this beautiful thing that makes everyone look better, because life sucks bad.
Your main concern was living happy.
My keys, yes.
And not getting attacked.
What exactly happened right before the Renaissance in the rest of Europe? What was like the large thing going on?
I can tell you.
You know, learn it.
Sure.
Wasn't it like the Black Death?
Yeah, the bubonic plague.
I don't know what it is.
This was known, this time was known, I'm sorry if the years I know a little off, is it like 1100s to like 1450, something like around that?
30, I'm pretty sure.
Does anyone have the actual years?
How many calls already?
1348. It wiped out, it was one third of Europe, and basically what ended up happening was giant plague goes on. This is where like the lords and kingships started popping up, and where people would live underneath each of the lords. This is where, if you look through like the golden age, here's the golden age of each country, then you get to like the 1100, you get about to like the 11th century about, and it just goes stop. Our life expectancy drops down from 65 now down to like 35, and everyone dies. There's been large amounts of disease, and all the technology just pauses. Comments over here, you and then you.
For medical things, it was actually pretty disgusting, but they believe weird medical treatments, like if you took a dead puppy and you rubbed it on your armpits, it would cure your plague. And also ring around the rosies is part of it, and the posies, they thought it could get, as the smell would keep you from getting disease.
they put those on the dead bodies to prevent the smell also.
I have two things to say. Number one, actually, pneumonia was part of the first bubonic plague, and they didn't have what they needed to treat it back then, so it actually worsened beyond what we would have today. Okay. And number two, I have a question about Italian history. Why does Poland have so many ponies?
You can answer that? Well, I do know that there is a statue of what is it? I believe Lithuania. I know that it was back when the Duke and the Princess Hetaila, they were going to be married. Yeah, be married. Oh, I failed. And there's a statue of, I believe, the Duke on a horse, and I think that might be where that comes from. That was my best guess, because I saw the statue in the city, in Central Park, and I really thought maybe that's why he has so many money, because it's a statue. That was my guess.
On horses, though.
Yeah, that was my guess. I saw that.
One of the reasons is because they tried to make it as a joke and make him as flamboyant and as possible. And then another thing was, and it's also a joke about them running away and being invaded a lot. It's also a joke about how much they're invaded.
Oh, I just thought it was like an animal hoarder thing, so.
Yes, the Polish people hoard horses.
Okay, going back.
Okay, if you have your hand up, put your hand down. This is out of curiosity. This has absolutely nothing to do with Italia.
Okay.
But I don't know about anybody else. I'm weird, but the bubonic plague is the Black Death is my favorite plague. Raise your hand if that's also your favorite plague.
Going back up, World War I. Why did World War I start? What is the reason World War I started? Cody, why don't you pick a hand this time?
Pick one we haven't called on yet. My bursitis is killing me.
There's only one person.
I can't see his face. You're a man, aren't you?
That's like the 50th time that's happened.
It just occurred to me that I know you. It just hit.
It's okay. That happens to me all the time. What is the reason?
Well, it was a combination of reasons. It was the Balkan powder keg and alliances that went on there. Germany was allied with Austria, or one of them. And then when Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated, and Austria went to war with
Yes.
Yes. The Allies got involved immediately because of the alliances.
What were the sides for World War I? About.
The what?
What were the sides?
Sites?
Sides. S-I-D-E.
Oh.
S-I-D-E.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just bad.
Yeah.
The sides were the Triple Alliance, which was Austria, Hungary, Germany, and Italy. And then there was the Triple Entente, which was France, Britain, and Russia, but then Russia dropped out and the U.S. replaced it.
How do people learn this when they were in high school? Or if they've learned this already? How do people slightly remember this, but don't really feel like their teachers got into this? We got about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes? Okay, so one more thing. Okay, one thing I personally adore about Hetaila is, especially the cheap Italia, they will define things. They will say something, and in the side, on the side of the screen, it will say the word and then a definition of the battle or the statue or the leader they're talking about. Has anybody found that helpful to them? Yes. Because for those of you who aren't that good with history, that's a great way for you to not only learn more history, but to follow the plot line of the show. and you're like so eager.
Yeah. This might be for mostly for the Hetaila fans. It's not really history-wise, but I think everyone. Well, I know, but this is based within the characters, not within the history of it. But it's I want to see who here thinks that Holy Roman Empire is Germany, whose lost is memory. Because there is such a debate on that. I went into it.
That's for tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. We want to discuss and the Holy Roman Empire, and that's tomorrow when we talk about the fan. And also tomorrow when I self-promote myself on fan fiction.
Oh God.
So,
Let's talk about that. We went over this today.
anyway. Don't even. There's horrifyingly disturbing. Don't even go there. Anyway. Do you guys have actual comments to say about this? No. No. Okay.
I was gonna say, going back to the descriptions and aside, actually in 8th grade, my teacher was terrible. He couldn't teach. We spent half the period talking about Star Wars or something. So that's actually what got me past the 8th grade. Those little side
Sounds like
things.
Mr. Minton who can't pronounce kamikaze and squish strings. He's a fantastic teacher.
Right. Why is Buster considered like a demon? Like why is it? Yes, I know. He summons him.
Why do I Guys, come on. One, if you want to really discuss the character depth of that, come tomorrow. If you raise your hand, I promise I will remember your face and I will explain the whole thing for you. History-wise, it's because he's considered a backwards country who industrialized backwards. It's a really long, confusing thing about how they did their history backwards.
Also, if you piss him off, he went to Siberia.
Also, USSR was considered one of the most horrifying things ever. We blacklisted people for, like, you could, like, point at someone and go, that's a communist.
Blacklisted.
Blacklisted. Add to the list. Dead.
Oh, God.
Who said that? She had her hand up.
Just a small question. Does anyone know the Tro logo? Okay, yeah. What?
That has absolutely nothing to do with this.
That's actually a real song. That's a real
I just want to say one thing. Even though a lot of people say they have really bad history teachers, I had really great high school teachers. I went to state tomorrow. And
They're considered our rivals.
and I had like my teacher, Miss Morera and Miss Breyer were like my best.
I love my current history teacher.
Just so people know,
He ran about contacts.
he's a senior in high school. She's a junior. I'm
Think about how
a
much more
junior
I
in
know.
college. We're just saying, so with the ages, it's really just based on the luck of the draw with some people.
Yeah.
I had to learn most of my stuff on my own.
same.
Teachers.
Also,
Some are really helpful.
that brings up a point. If you're sitting here going, oh, well, they're college students, so, like, of course they know more. I'm only a 10th grader. No. Pick up a book.
Alright, I want to go you, then you, and then that. Okay?
Out of curiosity, what school do you guys go
Well, we went to
You said,
East. We went to East, and I'm going to Farmingdale right now. Genesis.
Smithtown.
Smithtown East.
Smithtown East. Do you know Brandon Rupert? He is a senior. Yeah. He's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well, not really my boyfriend, but he's the boyfriend that I tell my parents about.
Sounds like you.
Please, I'm
You're
pretty
going
sure
to sit down and write.
I was going to say
You mentioned you met Nicole.
The thing about the Polish horses is that the Catholic Hussars were known as the only army in Eastern Europe for about 600 years. Their emblems were warriors on horseback with giant wings, and they looked kind of stupid, but then people didn't think anything of them until they kicked all your butts. And also the national emblem of Lithuania is a knight on a horse. It always has been, it always will be. It's on every crest that they have.
Thank you for helping out with that.
Yeah, thank you.
The other thing, what is the main cause of why countries go to war? What is the number one considered accepted reason?
So would you say atheism?
It's religion.
There's two possible answers I would consider.
It's because ideological reasons, or because they feel they have been threatened / human rights issues.
Money.
The reason that at
Current
least
issues
we've been told is it's because People say it's because, oh, we want to go free the country and the socioeconomic. No, it's because you want control of natural resources and land.
Yeah.
Everything about
Those are the ones that have been
No, that's,
are the
that's
accepted
the
reasons.
actual reasons. When they say it's for God, it's for glory,
Gold,
God,
gold,
and gold.
Yeah,
The
those are
gold
your
is the main
reasons.
reason. They want the resource.
The main reason is money.
Religion? No, we want money. Because
Hide behind my God.
when you we
The
got
only thing I remember. Got 5 minutes.
we got 5 minutes.
Okay. As my teacher says, one country is something another country wants.
Yep.
And please when we leave, turn the desk facing back this way when everyone leaves. Please and thank you.
I was going to say, that's kind of why I think that the war in Iraq is still going on, because we've basically wiped out most of Al-Qaeda's top people, yet we're still going on with the war, and at this point I think it's really over the
If we
resources.
get into that, then we'll start getting into why are we there in the first place. Okay, two things, and we can pull questions up after, we can talk to people after. What did you guys think, how many people enjoyed this type of panel where it's involving the anime with the cartoon? And would enjoy seeing this again, or something like this?
We'll do it next year.
How many people would not like to see this ever again, you can be honest? That's fine. How many people got dragged here? And that's the reason why they're here.
How many people actually enjoyed the panel a little bit?
Actually, I have one comment of mine.
Sorry.
Keep it real. People who like the show. The thing is that when we're talking about the history, a lot more people from the history side are going to be answering questions. So you're kind of giving like some.
Actually,
she answered almost everything. So maybe you guys just need
if I
to
want to go,
learn
I would say,
Not a lot of people.
if I go by the division,
They're like, it's not bad. Like,
Guys, the thing is, it's split almost evenly between people who know it and people who don't, not including the back people who don't want to be here. We're glad you still sort of enjoyed this, because we educated your children.
I don't think so.
But the thing is, we did. We had people over here answer. She happens to know everything about everything. And her guys just happen to know everything about everything. It wasn't so much that the answers weren't split because we split you guys up. It was because a select few in each group knew all of the answers.
there's a few people that are right on each side that they were a little bit more lenient towards the other, and they kind of just went to balance it.
Yeah.
How many people kind of just chose the side they are either because of a friend or because they kind of felt they wanted to balance the sides? There's a few people, and a few people ended up asking me, I kind of like both, so there's a few people that are not really raising their hands.
I told them to sit in the middle.
I
told them to sit in this row.
As for this, we are hosting the Italian panel tomorrow. This is where you can now come and give your arguments. We just wanted to divide up so people could get the ability to create a debate. No one chose to. We have Legends in the Temple, which is going to be, we have no clue. Anime, this is going to be a Wheel of Fortune. There's a small chance this panel will be changed over to Chain Reaction. It's hilarious. Improv on Sunday, and then we have video games we love.